Hello everyone, welcome to the Learn Biology Online, and today we'll discuss about the enzyme inhibition. There is an inhibitor which will bind with an enzyme and inhibit the whole reaction. Okay, so the inhibitor can be a irreversible of type and then can be a reversible type. So those inhibitors which will bind with an enzyme irreversibly, that means permanently, and inhibit the reaction. So they'll form a covalent bond with an enzyme and inhibit the reaction. While the reversible inhibitors are those inhibitors which binds with the enzyme through a non-covalent interaction or a weak interaction, so they can be rebought back. So if we put a more substrate amount in the reaction, that will basically shows a reversible reaction, so these inhibitors can be removed out. So the example of irreversible inhibitors are penicillin, which work as a irreversible inhibitor for transpeptidases. Iodoacetate is work as a permanent inhibitor for triose isomerase. Now this triose isomerase is used in glycolysis, I think at the fifth step, where it responsible for interchangeable condition in the DHAP and 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde. Now this allopurinol is basically, if the concentration of this allopurinol is increasing in the body, then it can cause a gout disease. Okay, now this allopurinol is converted into the oxopurinol with the help of xanthine oxidase. Now this product oxopurinol work as a irreversible inhibitor for xanthine oxidase. Now come to the reversible. Now this reversible inhibitor can bind with an enzyme through a competitive way and the uncompetitive, and also show a mixed inhibition, which include the non-competitive inhibition. Come to the reversible inhibition. Today we'll discuss about the competitive inhibition. Now we know that if two things are competing together or showing a competition, that means they are having an equal strength. So here also this inhibitor and the substrate have an equal geometrical shape. They can bind with an enzyme. That is why they are showing a competition. So when inhibitor bind reversibly to the same site that the substrate would occupy, that is, competes with a substrate for that site. So both are competing for the enzyme site. So here you can see this is an enzyme, and the enzyme having an active site through which the substrate will bind, and then they form a ES complex. E has having a catalytic property which breaks the substrate bond and form a product. Now this inhibitor is having a same geometrical conformation or the structure that can bind with the enzyme. So this inhibitor can also bind with an enzyme and they form a EI complex, that is enzyme inhibitor complex. Here you can see this is an enzyme and this is a this is an enzyme and this is a substrate which will bind with this active site and then form a ES complex. Here you can see this enzyme and substrate having a same shape, same shape of which is equivalent to the active site. So this inhibitor can also bind with an enzyme and then they also form a EI complex. So that is how this competitive inhibition work. Here this is a graph and this is very important. It has been asked in BSc, in the NEET, and in the CSIR NET, in the MSc entrances exam. This is very important. So V naught is present at a y-axis while S is found at a x-axis. I told you this red line is showing a normal reaction when inhibitor is not present. In this reaction, you can see at half Vmax, there is a Km is found. Okay, this is the Km first, and this is a Vmax where the substrate will bind with the enzymes. This is a Vmax condition. Okay, but when this inhibitor will bind with an enzyme, it can cause Km to increase. You can see the Km is increasing. Km has increased, but Vmax is same. Vmax doesn't change. So in the competitive type of inhibition, the Km will increase. This Km will increase, but the Vmax remain constant. Okay, this is very important. Remember this. Now, if we put a Lineweaver-Burk plot for the competitive inhibition, then this is a basically reciprocal of Michael-Menten equation. So this is a 1 upon V naught which we put on y-axis, and this is a 1 upon S which is we put on x-axis. Now you can see this is a positive value and these are the negative values, and this is a negative value and this is a positive value, like same as a normal graph. So this blue is showing when there is no inhibitor, a simple reaction. So this is a Km, okay, Km first, which is having this Vmax, okay, this Vmax. But when this inhibitor will bind with an enzyme, it is causing Km to come over here and then Vmax remain constant as like it occurs in the competitive inhibition. Now here you can see this Km is more negative, okay, but this Km becomes less negative. That means the Km value is increasing. So Km is increasing from more negative value to the less negative value, but the Vmax is remain constant. So this is the property of competitive inhibition. Okay, now discuss some example of the competitive inhibition. First is a sulfur drug. Now the sulfur drug working as an inhibitor for folic acid synthesis in the bacteria. Okay. Next is malonate, which is working as a competitive inhibitor for succinic dehydrogenase enzyme. So we know that the succinic dehydrogenase is found in the electron transport chain, the ETC chain, and the second complex. Okay, so that is all about the competitive inhibition, and rest of the inhibition we'll discuss in the later slides. So thank you so much.